What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the Versatorious Gaming channel. Today we have Truro, the end of Season 10, the 2032-2033 season, and what a season it's been. This is our first season back in League 2, remember? So, we expected us to do relatively poorly. We expected probably relegation, in all honesty. If we're going to be completely honest, we were expecting relegation. And we've done better than that. We haven't done much better than that, but we've done better. We've survived. That's the main thing. So as you can see, there were no transfers, no arrivals. We didn't sign any new players. And Paul Bowker went to Western Pride in Australia. He wasn't going to get any game time. And he didn't really have that much of a potential. So I was quite happy to let him go. So I let him go to Western Pride in Australia. He's done relatively well over there. 7.46 rating. So he's definitely having a little bit of a career now. So as you can see, we finished 17th, 51 points. I targeted at the start of the season. I went through all the previous seasons and I had a look, and roughly 45 tended to be the average of survival. So I thought, right, that would be brilliant if we can get 45 points. We ended up with 51. Using the 4-4-2 formation that I'd started to use towards the back end of last season when we had the really bad form and we turned it around and ended up getting promoted. So we continued with that. The start of the season, we played really well. We had a very good run. And I thought to myself, wow, like, we might genuinely do bits in this league. Like, we might actually be a lot better than I think we are. And then there was a harsh sort of reminder that, no, this is League 2. And you are going to struggle in this league quite a bit, as you can see, looking at the results. So you can see as we go down, the results just, the losses, the draws, a couple of wins in there every now and then. But it was definitely that early season form that got us over the line. You can see we were scoring goals. We were just conceding a lot of goals as well. And we had issues with some injuries towards the back end of the season as well. But 17th in our first season in League 2, I will take that. Aldershot, who came up with us, have gone down. So have Cheltenham Town. Cheltenham Town were pretty much the kicking boys of the season. I think we beat them twice, I want to say. We drew with them the first game, and we lost to them the second game. Well, forget what I was saying then. I thought we beat them. Never mind. In the FA Cup, I didn't focus on any cup competition. I played weakened teams. I was not bothered about anything to do with the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, or the Papa John's Cup. The first game of the FA Cup, I played a stronger team. I thought, well, let's do at least something in the FA Cup. We not bothered about the other two. So we did something in the FA Cup. We beat Swindon Town from the league above us, and then Leyton Orient beat us also from the league above us. Both of them were sat in the relegation zones when we played both of them. So I thought maybe we could get a result against both, hence why I went for the stronger teams. Carabao Cup, first round knocked out Milton Keynes. Absolutely demolished us 5-1. I played a very weakened team. Papa John's Trophy, again, exact same thing. I played weakened teams against all of them, and we lost all of them, apart from that final Crystal Palace game, which we won on penalties. So we didn't do brilliantly in either of these two competitions, and we got to the second round in the FA Cup. So again, like I said, the league was the focus for me. We had to do well in the league. We had to stay at this level, because if we drop down, we're talking we're losing the professional status. We're talking we're losing players. We had to stay up. So the moments to remember: Truro 4-0 win over Accrington. Alex Mullen, Jack Johnson, Leighton Sneap, and Toshido all getting goals. Match to remember was the 2-2 with Carlisle, and the goal of the season came from Alex Mullen in the Cambridge game. Now, is this goal better than last season's goal? Because last season's goal should not have been goal of the season. I don't understand why they put last season's goal as goal of the season. That was very silly in my opinion. So, Alex Mullen, can you do the business for us this time? If I remember correctly, I think this is top right. I think this is top right, if I can remember it. You can see we get hold of the ball here. Alex Mullen comes across, cuts inside, and boom, yeah, top right. And see, I do remember the goals. Alex Mullen played superbly this season. I am very happy with how he played. I am very happy with how Jack Johnson played. Finances-wise, we're still in debt. We're going to remain in debt until we have a player come through that is an absolute outstanding talent. And until that happens, we're sort of just floating. But you can see 40k in sponsorship, so we've gone up £16,000 in sponsorship money, which is great. We've gone up in broadcasting revenue, went from 9.96 thousand to 259,000 in broadcast revenue. Again, superb. We've gone up in corporate and hospitality. Again, pretty much nearly doubled it. We've gone up in competition prize money. Again, we've gone up in matchday, commercial and retail. We have just expanded the stadium as well. And as you can see, 514 shirts were sold this season. Jack Johnson, Stuart Walker, Alex Mullen and Toshido. With Hassan Paul also having a t-shirt up there. So this was our best 11. This was the 11 that we played with most of the season. And looking at it, it is pretty much the main team. This is the team that started pretty much every league game. You can see there was some rotation though, but most of them played every league game. And 18 goals for Jack Johnson, 22 for Stuart Walker. Both of them hitting 28 goal contributions each. An outstanding season for both of them. A really good one for Brad Parks, 7 assists, 3 goals. And for Toshido, 5 and 5, 4 and 7 for Alex Mullen. It's all over the place. And you can see we've got a goal in the defence now as well. Later, Sneap's got a couple of goals as well. Very, very happy. Club awards, Jack Johnson got Player of the Year. Stuart Walker got Young Player of the Year. Alex Mullen, Goal of the Year. Stuart Walker, top goal scorer. Most assists were done by Jack Johnson. Most player of the matches was Jack Johnson. Highest average rating was Jack Johnson. And most passes was yet again one of our centre-backs. This time it was Philip Murray. But apart from that, we had no other awards. So, a really successful season for Truro. Really began to pick up speed in the middle of the campaign. And they deservedly staying up. And you can see by our manager timeline, it's pretty much the same. If we head towards where we are now, we're going up. Big upset over League One side. I hit 500 matches in charge of Truro. And we completed 3 transfers of youngsters. And that is pretty much that. 2 major awards. So, last season when we were looking at the Manager of the Year and the Manager of the Season for last season, we came runner-up in both of them. We didn't get the Manager of the Season. We didn't get Manager of the Year. We came runner-up in both. Second place in both of them, which is unfortunate, but I am very happy to have even been in the considerations, considering where we were supposed to finish. So I'm very happy with that. We've dropped on the core slightly and upped in the casual supporters. We've gone up in 3,500 social media following, which I am very pleased about. It means we're getting out there a little bit more, and hopefully some more money will be coming in as a result. Seasonal performance, you can see this is, I think this is overall for the season. You can see League 2 average compared to Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was just insane all season. Very happy with him. Physical output. Jeremy Muller's a little bit low there. Low distance covered. High number of sprints completed. Leighton Sneap is right up there. High distance covered. High number of sprints completed. And this is a man that has 5 pace. Unbelievable. And then creativity of midfielders. You can see the difference that Alex Mullen is compared to the League 2 average. Just not completing so many passes. But I am still very happy with how things are going. Yeah, this next season's competition expectations. You can see we continue to develop the youth system. Continue the high pressing play. Play possession football, which we don't really do that. But work within the wage budget. Very happy with maximum 1 contract. We're not buying anyone, so that this one doesn't really matter. And again, attempt to avoid relegation from League 2. Dynamics were still looking very good. We had a little issue with club atmosphere partway through the season, but that seems to have cleared up now. And you can see most of the team supports me. And more importantly, the top 3 team leaders support me. That is the more important thing. So, moving into the scholars. This is what we're all here for, the Youth Academy. How have we done with the Youth Academy? Well, we have some players that we've signed. And to be honest, I've signed some 3-star players for the simple fact of our under-18s was getting very small. And our under-23s is not much bigger. So we didn't really have a lot of players moving about now. So now that we're in League 2, I'm thinking we can loan players now to the National League North and South. These players, hopefully, might be good enough for North and South. You know what I mean? This player here operating North-South level. Do I think he's operating at North-South? No, I'd be very disappointed if my club signed him. But it gives us the ability to send some of these on loan. Obviously, we've got some players here that are out of contract and they will be leaving the club. The ones that aren't out of contract, they will all be loaned out, including anyone that's of older age in here. So that was the reason why I've brought some of the not so good players in, just to sort of flesh out our under 18s and just rebuild it a little bit, because we had 3 seasons where our under 18s were superb in the league they're in, and then this season they've been woeful, and I reckon it's because we've got no under 18s really. I haven't really signed that many. I only signed the best of the best, and the best of the best have sort of like just moved on already or have made it into the first team. You know what I mean? Someone like Ian Mayer is someone that I'd be looking at going, okay, can he do something in the first team eventually with that 1.5 star rating? You know what I mean? He's apparently he's the second best defender on the right. You know what I mean? So I would be looking at that going, I wonder. Now, obviously, Christos is in the first team at the moment with that 5-star potential that I want to use. So Ian's going to sit back in the under 18s for a bit. So we're going to start with Alex Wilson. We had no goalkeeper in the under 18s, so I've decided we're going to bring this one in anyway. It's got 4-star potential. I don't think he's going to be as good as Hassan Paul. Might be better than Chris Smith in the long run. I'm not quite sure, but his low determination and his lack of consistency does worry me. But he is very happy to punch the ball, which I don't know whether that's a good thing. It might be a good thing. I don't know. I don't really know. But he dwells on the ball, which is a little bit worrying when you're playing with a sweeper keeper. So, but I'm going to train him to see what he can do, see if he can build up to being a regular first team player. Paul Dyer, the Montserratian, he's from Montserrat. He's from Montserrat. Fullback on the left, again, no pace about him. Doesn't really look like he could probably do it. He might move into the midfield. You know what I'm like for putting me fullbacks in midfield if they've got the decent stats. You know what I mean? But the only problem with him is he hasn't got this off the ball, so I am a little bit worried. I am training him as a wing back on support, so hopefully he will improve. James Halligan, again, another player I don't know whether he's going to make it. We are training him to be an advanced forward. I don't know why we're doing that, looking at him. Probably because he's got these 7 finishing and he's not really decent anywhere. I'm not, like, I think it was to do with the fact that he's 5'4". I didn't want a 5'4" player here. So the other option was to put him on the wing, but then he's not very quick. So he's going to train to play up front. I probably will stick him on a quickness training just to try and see if we can get that up. We'll do that now. Scott Beauchamp. He potentially could be part of the first team. I like the determination. He is fairly ambitious, so he's got something good somewhere. He's got a good left and right foot. His teamwork, work rate, off ball. It's all fairly decent. It's not this level decent, but it's potentially finishing, first touch. You know what I mean? Passing, technique. It's all there that he could potentially be a player. Consistency is woeful, but he could potentially be a box-to-box midfielder, which is what we're training him to do. He is only 5'8", but he is probably, besides Ian Mayer, he is probably the one that I'm watching the most to see what he can do. Richard White, again, another one I don't really know whether he's going to make it. He is also playing as the advanced forward, mainly because he's got 12 finishing, 12 pace, and he's got a little bit of flair about him, but work rate's not there. Long shots, it's just stamina's poor. You know what I mean? He's crossing. There's nothing there to say he's going to play there. So, advance forward, if we put him there. You can see how much better the stats are spread when you do that. It's just the fact he's got no balance. He's got no anticipation. I don't know whether he's going to make it, but again, he's a player. We've just got to bolster this under-18s team. So, we've gone through Ian Meyer, who, again, for the record, is there. He is 5'8", but so with heading and marking and tackling like this, and positioning of 8, teamwork of 16, work rate of 11. I was hoping he was going to be taller, plus the double foot. If he'd have been taller, he'd have been superb for that for a centre back role. But nah, not tall enough. Unless he has a growth spurt. But what is he? 17, 15, 15. So he could still have a growth spurt, I suppose. I don't know whether that's actually coded into the game or not. I hope it is. Because Ian Mayer could be a centre-back if he grows. 6'2", Scott Page. Again, you can see really poor heading. Marking, tackling's average. Positioning's relatively decent. Decisions decent. Concentration poor. Composure and anticipation average. He's not really going to be a central defender for me. You know what I mean? He's got no pace about him. We are training him to play. Oh, dear me. We are training him to play as a ball-playing defender. Whether he'll be actually able to do that or not is unlikely with the 2 vision. But I like to train them as ball-playing defenders, even if they play as central defenders. I just like my defenders to be good with the ball at their feet. We have Andy Lau. Probably never going to make it. Again, another player that I'm just literally just bolstering the under-18s with. But we'll probably never make it. Same with Marcelo Bastic. We'll probably never make it. I like the high determination. That means he's more likely to exceed this, but I can't see it at the moment. But we are going to train them all. We're going to give them a go. We're going to see what they can do. Baker Hoyt. I really don't think this lad's going to make it. 6'2", very strong. Right foot, but no pace, no strength, no jumping, no marking. It's just woeful. Giovanni McQueen, awesome name. Can play right across this back line. And this is the one that is most likely going to enter the team at some point. He will never be a starter. He will never be superb. He will always be a backup. But the fact that he can play right across this back line, he is strong with both feet, and he's just relatively average all round. I reckon he could do a job as sitting on the bench and just going across the line. Doesn't matter where. I am playing him as a central defender, training him as a central defender, because that is the most likely spot for him to be. But I like the fact that he could be a player that could go anywhere along that back line. I quite like that, and I might be keeping him just purely for that. The Grenadian from Granada. He's definitely the one that's most likely to make it, but he's unambitious, so there is fault with him completely. And then there's Leighton Demkiv. Plays as a defensive winger. I think I'm training him as an inverted winger. I am on the left hand side. He's another one. He's got attributes in the wrong places. You know what I mean? His attributes are all in the wrong places, and it just upsets me so much. So, yeah. Development centre wise, the youth candidates came through. They weren't very good. This was the total youth intake that we've actually signed. But yeah, it's not brilliant. We need to get on top of the facilities. We need to improve this junior coaching budget. But the problem is, every time I ask for it, if we go forward, he'll probably say no. Every time I ask for it, they say no, basically, which is a little bit disappointing. But I mean, they accepted for me to study, so maybe they'll give me a update on the junior coaching. But yeah, see, rejected. So I can't, like, even if I try and increase it. Yeah, request denied. He just will not listen to me. He won't. But then when you've got finances like this, you can understand why he's not listening to me. You know what I mean? The finances are woeful. They're going to drop really badly, and I don't see how we get out of this without either selling a really good player. And when we look at our team and we look at the transfer values, there are 2 players that could. Well, there's one player that could be transfer listed that will give us at least near to our break even, and that is Hassan Paul. He has a 500k release. He has a 500k transfer value. Whether he is actually that or not, I don't know. He is reportedly a League 2 player, I believe. Decent player for League 2 sides, and he could be a leading Sky Bet League 2 player. So he could potentially be worth some money. I keep trying to get him to enter contract negotiations with us, but he will not do it. So I'm going to have to take the risk here. Do I sell Hassan Paul this summer and give the role to Chris Smith, who, let's be honest, is not ready? Or do I take the risk of losing Hassan Paul for a free at the end of next season? You can see the quality difference between them. It is huge. We've always seen that whenever we play a goalkeeper for an extended amount of period, normally just one season, normally they really shoot up. So maybe, just maybe, I've got to choose between Chris and his counterpart Alex on which one's going to be this sweeper keeper on support. Because honestly, I can't quite work out between the two which one I want. And part of me is just saying go for Chris. Chris has been about much longer, but it's hard to decide, especially when you've got positioning differences like this. Positioning is so important. It's a tough one. Let me know down in the comments which one you would choose, Chris or Alex, because Hassan might leave this summer just for the fact of we need to get, like, we got 500k here potentially, and losing him on a free would be detrimental, I think. The other option is Stuart Walker, who's only worth 140k, but he has proven himself at this level. 16.37 xG, and he scored 22 goals. You know what I mean? So he is improving, but he's only a leading player for Vanarama North South sides, but he still does have this potential decent to be a League 2 player. Jack Johnson has definitely dropped. He is not going to be good enough. He's 25 now. He's never going to be better than what he is. So we're getting to a point now where we've got older players coming through that need to be looked to be sold. We've got Brad Park here. He's a 4-star player. Reported only a lead in North-South. So it's surprising that we've managed to do well in this league. But again, decent Sky Bet League 2 player, which is why he's staying around. But he does not like big matches. And pretty much every game is a big match for us at the moment. And he's worth 50 to 85,000. So the team is not very stacked and in a lot of trouble in terms of its finances. We have players here that should not be here no more. The likes of Tim McGrath Colbert should not be here no more, but I'm too scared to let him go. Because if I let him go, we're going to be in major trouble. Because we have no one replacing him. Because I mismanaged the under-18s. That's right. I mismanaged the under-18s. We got Toshido. He's pretty much maxing out his potential now. He's pretty much done. So we are in a little bit of a starting to change the guard, so to speak. So Alexander Laughlin's another one that shouldn't be here. He is actually going to go this time. But we need to change things. We need to change them soon. And I am slightly worried for what the season has ahead. Mistakes leading for goals. You can see Chris Smith is right up there. If that influences your decision on whether Chris Smith should be starting or not, let me know. Let me know. Goals-wise, like I said, Stuart Walker had the best season I think he's ever had. 22 goals in the league for him. You can see he didn't really play in the cup competitions. So just 22 in the league, 6 assists, 6.99 average rating. Very, very happy with him. Jack Johnson scored 16 in the league. Didn't really play in the cup competitions, but did bag 2 regardless. 16 and 9. 5 player of the match awards. That's a 7.03. Not his best season, but he's still keeping his average rating up. He's still assisting and scoring, so I am very happy with that. Alex Mullen had a decent season as well. 6 goals, 4 assists, making the step up. He only dropped off a little bit. His average rating wasn't as good as last season, but his average rating is never very good on this side of the field. And also, when he's playing so far back, he's got quite a bit to run. But he is still a decent player for us. Toshido, 5 goals, 4 assists. Not as good as last season, but again, it's a step up in class. He got 2 player man of the matches. So I am very, very pleased with his progress in League 2. Kwaku didn't really get much game time. He got 7 League 2 starts, 4 sub appearances, 2 in the FA Cup, 1 in the Carabao Cup, and 3 in the Papa John's Trophy. So a total of 13 starts and 14 sub appearances, scoring 3 goals overall and 1 player of the match overall, which, to be fair, we'll probably say was a decent season for the young lad. Obviously, bit of a jump up from last season, and not only that, he's going to have to start playing more regularly with the likes of Jack Johnson heading out the door. Jeremy Muller, also very good season. He's continuing to grow. I still think he has it says Vanarama National, so he may not be around much longer, but he has to be in the team for now. 40 appearances, 2 goals, 4 assists. His best season by far, 6.85. Very happy with Jeremy Muller. Graham Newton didn't really play much this season. 10 appearances, 24 sub-appearances, 2 assists, 2 goals. I think time's pretty much done for Graham Newton. I don't think he's going to be part of this team much longer. And he will be heading out the door and probably into retirement because they most of them tend to retire when they've been released from Truro. So it will be unfortunate to see him go. Andy Evans played relatively well, actually, in the games he's played. He's played 10 goals, 10 starts, 14 sub-appearances, XG of 0.72. He has scored and he has assisted, a 6.5 average rating, which obviously isn't great, but he actually made differences when he came onto the field, which is mad that his rating was so low. Maybe he had really good games like this one and then really, really bad games like this one, and it dragged it down ever so slightly. But overall, I was quite pleased with how he played. But again, he's not the quality. He is not the quality. Leighton Sneap also is only a lead in North-South. We thought he was better than that. He's going to be a decent Sky Bet League 2, so he will be sticking around. 210k max transfer value. I am very happy to see. Love this aggression, anticipation, bravery, concentration. Had a very poor season in terms of his average rating. But again, he didn't play very well last season in the National League. So he's only really done the same as what he was doing in the National League. He just can't seem to make these step-ups, as you can see. In the South, he was 6.72. Then it dropped and just stayed around this level. And then in the League 2, it's dropped again ever so slightly. So I don't know relating, but I think we're going to keep him about. It's his pace that's a little bit worrying. If he was a faster player, I reckon his average ratings would be way up there, but unfortunately they're not. We just don't seem to produce fast players here at Truro. Thomas Owen played 9 starts, 26 sub-appearances, a 0.43 XG. Never scored a goal though. He did assist once. He scored in the Carabao Cup as well. 6.57 average rating from 35 total appearances. But in all honesty, he is still very young, or he was still very young at the start of this season, playing during this season. You can see his progress is improving. He is getting there. He has massive 5-star potential, although it does only say to be a National League player. But I think he can grow to being a League 2 player, provided that one of these two moves on. Brad Park most likely the one to move on eventually. Richie Andrews. This is the end of Richie, I think. Richie is one of those players that I should have just let him play a bit more than he did, and he just can't keep up with the squad now. As you can see, he's had his worst season by far, and I'm now finished with Richie Andrews. Richie Andrews is leaving, 23 years old. I do not see a future for him. Anton Brownlee. Anton is still here, very happy with himself. He has played 34 times, 7 sub-appearances, a 2.22 XG for assists, a 0.91 XG for goals, and he has assisted twice and scored once, which is beautiful. A 6.96 average rating, 62 clearances, and you can see he has had 3 player of the matches. This is by far his best season. He has made the step up to League 2 very well, and I am very, very pleased with how he has done. Anton Brownlee. Gideon Ngoy. 11 starts, 10 sub-appearances. You can see I'm using players a lot more this year. I'm rotating a lot more. I've literally, look, we go into this is the first team. And then, boom, there's the second team. You know what I mean? And I just mix and match from there. We have the first team, we have the second team. We did not suffer with fatigue as much as what we did last season, which is the main point. You know what I mean? That's what we were trying to stop. Christos hasn't really played much. 18 starts, though, in League 2. That's incredible, isn't it? 18 starts in League 2. Now, he got smashed in all of them, 6.34. But you got to remember the team he's playing. He's playing in that second 11. The second 11 do not play very well at all, and they tend to get smashed. So, the fact that he hasn't played very well, and he has played in that right-hand slot, just giving him the game time, that was the main thing. It was not about getting the really high ratings or anything like that. It was like, right, let's get him on the pitch. Let's get some game time into him. And you can see from here, like, he wasn't really getting much game time along here. And then, boom, game time. And it's pulled him back up and up. So I am very happy with Christos. Chris Smith, we've already spoken about. Costello, eight starts, 33 sub appearances, did very well, 6.67 overall. I think he played very well for how much game time he got. And you can see he's jumping up in all of his physical attributes as well, which is very nice to see. Very, very nice to see. He's currently operating at North-South level, and he has the potential to improve a lot in the future. Career stats, you can see, 1 assist, 6.67. Not quite his best season, but not far away from being one of his better seasons either. Let's continue down. We're looking at Timothy. Timothy! Me and Timothy fell out midway through the season. And with his potential ability starting to drop as well, you can see he's only made 4 appearances, 3 starts, 1 sub, 6.33. We fell out, me and Timothy. We had a bit of a bust up. He thought he was better than he was. I told him he weren't, and he pretty much cried the entire season. So there is a very good chance that Toshido's brother is going to be shipped out on loan to somebody else because he's not going to. I don't want him to be my problem anymore. Lewis Smith, 11 starts, 5 sub appearances. Didn't really have much to play for this season. 6.25, 19 clearances. Not really sure why he didn't get the game time I was hoping he was going to get. He was playing as, if I go to the second team, he was playing as this wing back on automatic. I don't know whether he'd been injured a few times and that's why he wasn't able to play. But he didn't play anywhere near as much as I was hoping he would. So this season was a bit of a bust for him. But hopefully next season he will play a bit more and he will start to grow into this 3-star potential. If he doesn't grow, then there is a player here that is still holding a little bit more potential. He will be staying for another couple of seasons. So there is every potential that he is going to take that spot if Lewis does not perform next season. There is also Darren Byrne here, who is 6 foot, that likes to play on that left-hand side if needed. Although he is right-footed, so that would change the tactic ever so slightly. So probably, maybe not. All these guys are pretty much moving out. If we go into the under-18s and organised by position, you can see we've got Paul Dyer here, who's the player from Montserrat. He's got a bit of a higher potential as well. So he is also an idea of moving in for Lewis Smith. If Lewis does not take his chance next season. Alexander Laughlin, I've had enough of. He's going. He played 8 times, 6 sub appearances, 6.45. Never really played very well when he was here. I don't plan on keeping him around. He's not going to be a decent player for us. Too low potential, and I'm going to give up with him, basically. Same with Casey Spedge. Casey Spedge can go now. I tried to give him game time towards the back end of last season, I think. In fact, no, I didn't. He's always been a bit part player, but he's never produced, and I'm just going to let him go. I've decided now's the time. That 2-star potential rating is just not going to make it, so Casey's also going to go, which is unfortunate because he looked like a decent prospect, but he just needed game time. Here we are, Philip Murray at long last. Look at those stats. This man is just why it keeps telling me to play him at fullback, I don't know, because this man is my central defender. And he is a decent Renaissance player. He has the potential to be a good Sky Bet League 2 player. This man is going nowhere. I will be doing everything within my power to keep this man at all times. Like, I will pay this man the money. Enjoys big matches, determined attitude, fairly consistent performer. This man is captain. This man is captain, and he will remain captain. And yet again, another decent season, 2 assists. Didn't get it on the score sheet this season, which is unfortunate. But a 6.83, still a very good season, and has obviously made the step up to League 2 quite comfortably. Corby's still playing relatively well. Obviously, you can see his potential abilities dropped a little bit. He's a leading North-South player and has the potential probably to be a National League player. Probably never going to be good enough for League 2, but he is my out-and-out right back. 28 appearances, 5 sub-appearances. He had a bit of an injury issue this season, a 6.62, so didn't really make the step up so well. 33 total appearances. But like I said, he had an injury. I believe he had an injury issue this year. If we have a look at his injuries, 2033. Yeah, damaged kneecap. So again, like I said, he had a bit of a rough season this year with that damaged kneecap, flu, pulled groin. So he's had a bit of a rough one this year. But hopefully next year he can bounce back. And like we said with Hassanpour, has played superbly. 57 conceded in 35, 6 clean sheets, 6.85 average rating. Has made the step up quite comfortably to conceded conceded 9 less than last year. Very nice to see. But obviously that was in a lot less games. But I think Chris Smith played some games this season. Yeah, 11 total appearances. So, and he conceded 30 in them. So it gives you a good idea of how bad that second string team is. But that is basically going to end today's video. Next season, obviously, we're going to attempt to stay in the league. We haven't worked out who's being promoted completely yet. We're going to stay in the league. The good thing about this league is the fact that there are only 2 relegation spots. So, provided we can stay in 22nd, 21st, 20th, 19th, 18th, we are fine. I don't have to worry about the 4 spots like it is down in the National League, where it's awful for relegation spots. Don't have to worry about that in this league. We only have to worry about 2. So we have to make sure that we are better than 2 teams all season. We have to be better than 2 teams the entire season. That's it. Not 4, 2. I think the National League is a lot harder league than what League 2 is. And I think provided we can stay in this league, I think we're going to be in this league for a couple of seasons. We need to be able to sell a decent player off. We need to make some money. We need to get the junior coaching better. We need to improve our reputation by doing well in the FA Cup. Not really bothered about the Carabao Cup and the Johnson Paint Trophy. I will not be playing the main team in that. That will always be the second string team. And the second string team, as you can see, is dreadful. If we go down and look at some of our big losses. Bolton, you can see second string team. Timothy's there. Lewis Smith, Chris Smith, Brewster, Richie Andrews. That's the second string team. That's a big 4-0 loss. And you can see we revert back to the first team. And then the second team, first team, second team, first team, second team, where we got smashed 5-1. So I am rotating the team quite a lot. And I think I was doing that in these first fixtures as well. First team, second team, first, second, first, second. And then it just went all downhill from there. But if you have enjoyed today's episode, then please do drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Which goalkeeper are we going for? Are we going for Chris or are we going for Alex, provided that Paul leaves? And I will see you all very soon. Have a good one, guys.